So today, talking about these dogs, I'm going to start to talk about my the beginning things that I was working on with these dogs. I figured I'd just make this a live stream because it's just easier for me to be able to just get it on YouTube fast. I don't have to do any work. I'm just busy right now, so I just don't have the time. And hopefully this works out all right. But I want to play some videos and some things that's been going on that I started with working with my dog Kahi. And I started everything with obedience and trying to convince this dog to be with me based on play, based on let's have fun. And everything I started was I didn't go to the route of using treats because the dog just didn't care about that as much as he cared about his ball and string. So in reality, the first video I want to kind of share with you is the stuff that I did before. I highly doubt anyone that's ever watched me previously has ever seen any of these videos that I'm about to play. This is stuff that's 3 years ago, coming on 4 years ago now. And it's stuff that I just was doing. And to be straight up honest, I was just in a really bad place in my life in reality. So that's why I kind of let these videos go. There's a lot of vulgar language in it. I'm very, very angry, very hostile in a lot of the videos I was doing. And that's why my shift in my channel changed from talking about dogs for a little bit. And then I went to talking about the Bible for like almost 3 years. And then I went back to talking about dogs again when I, in reality, got a better level of my head, better, just not so angry, not so frustrated, not so just cleaned up my life is all I can say. But right up front, I just want to play this video. This is stuff that I was working on with this dog. I was working on this every day, all the time. So in this video in specific, this is the start of, everyone does their obedience stuff and obedience things and their routines. I just got bored with it. So I was like, I want to do something different. So in reality, I started doing routines to get into wanting to do a dance routine. I don't know why, but I wanted to be a person that got into being able to do a one of those dance stuff that people do. And I'm working on this routine. And I was working on this every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And in reality, trying to get this dog in a better place, because at this stage, at this time with this dog, it was dangerous. Like I couldn't use leash pressure or leash corrections much because he would come right back at me. He would look at me like, buddy, you do that again, I'm about to bite you. So I worked heavy all day at being able to get this dog. In reality, my main focus was to get him to get what I want to say is a perfect heel. That's why, like, a lot of times when he's walking I'm out, he has that foundation of knowing what that heel means, but he knows it based on everywhere I went. I don't know how this light's going to work. It'll be all right, whatever. Everywhere I went, everything I was doing, I had to have my ball on me. I had to have my toy on me. So everywhere in public, every single time making these videos and years ago, I had this vest on and I was constantly having to have this dog pay attention to me through the ball. The ball was the thing that was able to get him to do anything. So in this, the dog can say, look happy and look excited. But in reality, what's going on here is the dog is putting a lot of demands upon me. And so much so that it started to become very, very uncomfortable. So here, I kind of want this video to just play out and speak for a moment. There's some music in it that I might get a copyright for. It is what it is. But I just want to it's coming up in another minute. I want to play that part of the video that I'm talking in the end of it, because it's something that really got into my brain.
What's the point
really got in my brain a lot. And
what's the point to even talk
to
people when you know they're not going to tell you the truth of what's going on? What's the point of even speaking when you know whatever that person's going to say back to you is just a straight up lie? When you know that they have no intentions on trying to see the best in you, but only just trying to see the best in themselves. My name is Mark Anthony DuBose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. And there's something that I have to say that it's just heavy on my mind every day. And that's, why are you guys always lying? Why are you always lying about things that don't really matter in life? And then that makes people not be able to believe anything that you're saying, because you would lie about simple things, small things, insignificant things. So then when something serious does go down, no one's going to pay attention to you.
So these are the videos I was making that, again, I guarantee pretty much not a single person has ever seen that's watching me at this moment today. And these videos, I'm just constantly working over and over and over again on everything is obedience. Everything is, let's get this dog to get better around everything through using my obedience, and especially using that heel, and mainly my sit stay and my heel. I didn't care too much about the down. It was the sit and the heel. And in reality, the heel was the main thing. I focused so much of my time and energy on that, trying to be able to say, get this dog better in public, trying to get this dog to be able to be better with his reactivity, trying to get this dog to be better with just everything that's going on. He's scared, being heel. But everywhere and everything that I was doing with this dog, as you can see in this video and any video of these that I have this ball on me, around me. It's always on me all the time, and I just couldn't get away from it. And not even the sense of, some people are like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being able to just have the ball on me. It is what it is. It's just that it's all right. But the problem is, every time that the dog would get into a situation that it was, say, uncomfortable, or I'm, say, demanding that to put him into a heel position, I had to have a, say, breakout play session, and to be able to get this dog to be able to like get into that heel. So I had to, at the end of the day, good word to use is, I had to bribe the dog to be able to get him to get back into position, not him doing it, say, willingly. There had to be this like excessive game behind it to be able to get him there. And that excessive game in reality is going completely against, I'm not going to worry about the light. I'm going to try to worry about the light, but I don't think I could do anything about that. It is whatever. Don't listen, watch. Just watch the madness of what I'm doing in these videos. I mean, it's kind of cool looking. It's neat stuff to be able to do. But every single thing in this video and all of this that I've realized with having to have my ball and doing all these things with this dog is, he was always in a heightened arousal state. He was never calm. He was never just able to relax. So when he's, say, nervous and that excitability is starting to build up in him, or that fear is starting to build up in him, for me to be able to get him out of that was to, in reality, match, and if not go over above that excitability that was already in him. That's where I was kind of thinking for a while, because I stopped doing pretty much all and majority of all of this stuff because it really didn't help. It didn't make the things go away. It didn't make, because there were certain circumstances that, say, the fear overrided my excitement that I was able to bring to him. I wasn't able to make it to the point that I had something more powerful than what was scary for him that was going on. So more and more, I kept doing that. And then in reality, longer and longer, it kept getting less and less and less that he would focus on me and the ball and the toy and the play, that he started to focus more on the environment of things that he's more scared of. So as much as it helped at first, or I could say it seemed like it helped at first, in the end, it went to the route of, now I need to do what? Go to the balanced dog training side of things. Now I need to figure out how to be able to give this dog corrections. So for me and this dog, I just muzzle trained him. I put a muzzle on him, and I started to just use the leash in a way of, he can't come back at me because he clearly has the muzzle on. And then once he stopped trying to come back at me, I took the muzzle off, and okay, now we can just go right to leash corrections and being able to get him to get better. And that's the part of what I was talking about in my last video. But in this video, I'm going on just everything was play. I did everything play, because in reality, anything you try to do in a sense of saying no to this dog, good luck. Like, he's going to bite you. He's going to do something to you. And it's not easy to just get bit. It's not easy to just try to ignore it like everything is fine. But in this case, I just noticed that the more and more play, the more and more I try to layer on just, hey, let's have a good time, and you're going to be able to dance through the world and get through the environment through all of this play. It failed me in the end, in reality, because something in the environment was much more greater than anything that I could be able to bring to this dog. So I used to work on this stuff. I worked on this for years. So this video here is probably about 4 years, coming on 4 years old. And I was doing this for a year, about 2 years before. I was doing this for a lot of time. And all that time got me, in reality, absolutely nowhere with being able to get the dog to, what I want to say is, overcome the fear that was in him with taking him out in public, his, say, core of his reactivity. Could I get around certain circumstances? Yes. But when it really mattered, and that's the thing that I'm just really realizing about working with these dogs, nothing matters until it really matters. Everything is just fun and cute and pretty until it matters. When it matters, that's when you're going to see, like, what you've been doing. Is it working, or is it really not going anywhere? And in most cases, when I'm watching videos and watching people's stuff and watching people in public, I'm seeing that it's not working when you need it to. It's working when it's, say, in the best interest of the dog. And all of this that I've been working with this dog, especially in all this time frame, of course, he looked beautiful when everything else just wasn't as extreme. So in that case, this is not still a reliable situation that I was in with my dog. Nothing was getting me to the point of being just finally comfortable, finally able to just say, okay, we're finally getting somewhere that now I could take you further in public. Because at this time with this dog, I was in a really bad place. I was trying to get off of smoking too much, drinking too much. And so I used to go to the woods and go for walks. And we used to be deep backwood, the back of the nowheres. And in reality, I was kind of doing that knowing I can't take this dog around other dogs, especially other dogs and most other people. I couldn't take them around. So I would be out in the middle of nowhere. Hours and hours and hours a day. I'd be out here on the property, hours a day, just in random locations, different spots, just hanging out with him, trying to get my mind off of certain things that were going on with me and being able to try to help him at the same time. And in the middle of all this, I realized something not only just with my dog, but with me as well. I can't just run away from the issues. I can't just play and have a fun time and to get over my issues. I can't even try to punish and correct myself to get through my issues. I have to just figure out in a way of putting myself in it. And the word I want to use here is the best word to use. I have to force myself in it to be able to get myself through it. And once I put myself to force myself, if you're drinking a lot right now and you're like, I want to stop, you're not just going to, I'm going to replace it with a cookie and everything's going to be fine. No, you have to, it's a fight. It's a force. It's like life world changing for you to have to stop doing that. And in reality, most cases, why you're doing things like that is the same thing that's going on with the dog. It just has something else going on inside of it that it's just like, what's going on? And it's not a matter of I can punish it or I can reward it away. It's something that you have to force yourself through. And that's what I really started to understand through this process working with these dogs. Is as much as I'm saying I do not want to force the dog, because here's the first video that I made, dog say training video. Let me find it. The training one that I posted that, man, it got a lot of backlash. it got a lot, but it has a whole lot of views. And watch this video and watch this dog, and you're going to see a very excitable, crazy, mad, wild, just intense looking dog in reality this entire video. These are the first ones that I was ever making, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And in reality of the making of this video here, I'm even speaking in this video in the sense of, yes, I knew how to be able to contain this dog. I knew how to be able to physically hold this dog to make sure that he couldn't get to anybody. Because every time I go out in public, most people you're struggling, the dog is literally overpowering your physical ability. So that's why it's dragging you to be able to meet to me and my dog. So in this video, I'm just like, man, you have absolutely no control over the dog. But then when I'm really looking at mine, I'm like, I have no control over my dog either. Physically, maybe just because I have more power behind me to just be able to yank this dog, pull this dog to be able to get him away. But his mindset is still absolutely insane. And I just realized that working and using a lot of this, especially my play sessions to be able to get this dog better, it made him more demanding. It made him more pushy. And it made him just more nervous and more scared. And in reality, I know that as a fact personally with my own stuff. I don't know what everyone else is doing, but my own stuff I know personally because it started getting better. Where it's like, oh, he's playing with this ball. I see him get nervous, and I'm like, heel, Kahi, and then I'll bring the ball out, and I can jazz him up and get him all excited, and I'll say, okay, heel, and he'll stay there, and then I'll say, okay, good boy, give him the ball, play tug with him, let him chase it and bring it back and play tug with him, do all that. It worked. But then what happened was the shift started happening of now that other stuff is more terrifying still. It's still there. Regardless that my mind is focused here doing this, that stuff is still there. So the only way that in reality that works is if you remove the dog completely away from everything that it's scared of. And that's just not realistic. You can't just have your dog all the time on your own property and playing with it and never bring it. I mean, you could. Some people do. I mean, a lot of people do this. They don't take their dogs in public, period. But there's a lot that we can do to just do that behind closed doors. But once you bring them into the public, those things, all that play starts to fade away. It's going to fade and fade and fade to the point that it's just not it's not going to be as effective anymore. That's why it's, especially with using, say, treats, that's why you start with, I'm using the kibble, and then now I need something extra. Now I need some cheese. Now I need hot dog. Now I need liver. You just keep upgrading because you're fighting against something that in reality we can't win against when the dog is in fear of something in the environment. We're not going to win against the environment with whatever toy, whatever treat that we have. whatever leash, whatever anything. We're not going to win in the dog's state of mind with trying to bribe them into wanting to be with us. And that's what I was stumbling into. And for me personally, with the ball and the string is this dog's extreme. It's his highest reward. So I was already starting the process with the highest reward, which in hindsight, maybe I could have tried something differently, used a little lesser, but I already know it's going to happen. That progression, it's going to keep going up and up and up and up, and then it's going to stop working. And then when it stops working, what do? Okay, now I need a slip leash. Now I need a prong collar. Now I need a knee collar. Now I need more of these things. Because in reality, that's what happened. I have other videos with him with this. I think I have a couple videos with him because he's got his e-collar on right now. He's always had his e-collar. He had to have his e-collar on. In all of this stuff that I was doing at this time, he just would not function. If I didn't have it on and he knew it wasn't on in this specific video here, it would have been an absolute, it would have been a nightmare. It really would have been a nightmare. That's how I was able to trick the dog, as opposed to me giving him leash pressure to redirect it on me, to I can give him a stem on that collar and he didn't really have that same intensity on wanting to try to come back at me. So I felt like, hey, I found the magic tool, because in reality of the making of these videos, I was talking about that tool specifically, and that was what I used for everyone that I ever helped working with dogs, because it seemed like it just magically made everything work, get it better. But what would happen is, again, the numbers worked, and then you would have to dial it up. That number worked, and then you had to dial it up, and then that worked, and then what do? You put 2 boxes on. There was a time that this dog had 2 e-collar boxes on for a little while. And then when that doesn't work, and then for me personally, I'm not like, oh, because I was researching on, there's clearly more stronger e-collars out here. And there is one. There's a Martin Systems that is supposed to be intense, exceptionally powerful. And I'm not about to spend, I think at that time they were like $1,400 to $1,600 to get one of these collars. And I'm like, I'm not going that route. And so something in me said, well, I'm broke, I'm poor, I can't go that route. So there must be a different way. So that's when I started to go a different way. But everything that I was doing with this dog to start with is in reality what most every single person does. I'm going to start off with giving the dog treats. I'm going to start off with playing with the dog, and I'm going to watch my dog get into a better place. And that got me absolutely nowhere, but needing more and more and more. And that's where for him, demanding is easy to see, because he's literally jumping all on me. He's literally pushing and hitting me all the time. He's nibbling on me all the time. He's doing all this to me all the time, over and over and over and over again. And when all the time I'm driving, I had to keep him in the crate because he would just be pushing. I'm like, this isn't safe. All the time I was interacting with this dog, he's just constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. And this is what I see in most everybody's dogs. I see a dog that is just pushing so much that it's just like it starts to become obsessive. And it starts to become obsessive because we're trying to get a fear out of a dog by using this, but the fear is still there. We didn't overcome that fear. And that's what I want everyone to really start to think more about. How do I overcome that fear? Not how do I mask it? Not how do I try to redirect my dog to look at this instead of look at that fear? But how do I see, what is my dog fearful of? Why is my dog afraid? What's going on with my dog? Why it's doing this? Once we start to pay and focus all in that, then let's start to work on that. So for me, in this specific dog, I noticed a lot of his fear came because he never had anyone bring it down from him. He never had anyone just show him like it's okay. And he never had anyone, this word I'm going to use here that just a lot of people don't like. He never had anybody force him to have to just deal with it. We always would escape. I would always escape it. I would always run away from it. I would always just do something of what's that word? But man, I lost the word. I'd always have to do something to mask the issue. Like go take the drugs, go take the alcohol, go do this, go take the treats, go take the toys. We're always doing something to try and mask the issue, as opposed to going headfirst into the issue. And going headfirst into the issue is going to look at each dog different, but it's going to look extreme. This dog in specific, it looked extreme. He's whipping around, he's barking, he's going crazy, he's going absolutely intense. And that's the same that I want to put in the sense of getting more people's brains. When you want to quit, say it's drugs and alcohol for a lot of people, that's just really hard. And it's easy. And gambling and a lot of these things. When you first make that decision, I'm going to quit drinking. I'm not having it. You've been drinking for 20 years. Well, thankfully I wasn't. I was only drinking for about 5 years. And I'm like, I'm quitting. And if you've been doing this for 20 years since you were 13 years old, you've been smoking or doing something, for instance, the first day that you decide I'm not going to do it, what happens to you? you go in, you go insane. You just go absolutely wild. You start pacing. You start doing crazy things. You start lashing out. You start getting angry. You start getting hostile. Rage comes out of you. Absolute, just extreme protest comes out of you. And that's in reality what happens to this dog here. That rage starts to manifest. And what happens is you deal with that, and it hurts the first day. You deal with that the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth day. And then you get to that point that it's just like, it's not so much anymore. Now I finally have, like, I got the leg up now. Now I can move forward now. But everything that I was doing, especially going to the route of let's play our way through this. It got to the point that, in the same way with drugs, you start with Advil. Then you start going to other pills. You start to get out of the pills. You start to go to the hard street drugs. And then out of the street drugs, you're like, I need to figure out how to put all the more. You go more and more and more and more and more. That's why I don't know about y'all, but we had DARE as kids back in the day and to try to get us to get away from drugs. And they would always say that marijuana is a gateway drug, because you start that and then all of a sudden you start to need more. You start to need different stuff. You start to do other things. You know, it's one thing if you started smoking, but most people start smoking and what? You start drinking. And you start drinking, then you start what? You start doing other things, gambling. You start being risky with your money. You start being risky with your body, with having relations with other people. You start just doing more. You don't just do one, sit back, chill, and relax, and that's it for the rest of your life. That's not the case. And that's what's literally going on with the dog. I'm going to start with the dog in the sense of, let's play. Now you need more levels of this play. And I'm not the only one that's experienced this. I've seen this over and over and over and over again. That's why everything starts with how I started personally with my own dogs. This is why, a lot of my videos I make, I'm talking as if I'm talking about somebody else. No, I'm talking about my own stuff. And I literally have videos of the entire process of everything that I've been doing with these dogs. And I'm not talking as experience of just seeing, I'm doing. I started with, I'm going to play with this dog to get him to a better place. It didn't get me anywhere. It got me somewhere. It did. But what happened next? Now I went from, say, positive only style training, and then I moved into balanced style of training. And then what happened in my balance of training? The exact same thing happened. Slip leash, e-collar, or a prong collar. Because this dog, I got pictures and videos of him. He's in his prong collar. And then what did I have on him? Slip leash, prong collar, and an e-collar. He had all three of those jacked up on him at all times. And I had his dominant collar on with a short tab. And then his prong collar was hooked up to my main leash, and then his e-collar. And then I started to, I made the prong collar disappear. And then once I made the prong collar and the dominant collar disappear, what did I do? I upped the stem on the e-collar. And then when that stem started to get to the point that I could hit this dog on 100 on that e-collar's technology, and he would just, it would hit him like nothing matters. He's terrified, and I would just give him a tap on it, and he would just be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then what do we do? You're good, man. And then what do we do? We go to that second box, and that second box seemed like it worked for a while. And that's the stuff that I just kept seeing when I'm looking at working on with a dog in a sense of this balanced dog training and this, say, positive only style training. It gets you so far. But when it matters is what should matter in the beginning, to the start. What matters when your dog is running out into the street, how are you able to get that dog back? That's what matters. Every other little scenario, you're at your house and you get your dog to come back to you. You're at a safe, secure park that's got a nice 6-foot fence around it, knowing that your dog can't get out. I mean, 6 foot's not enough for a lot of these dogs. This dog can jump a 4 foot with nothing. And like, it's nothing, like literally just jump it. It's pretty cool. But I teach my dogs to jump fences, which I probably shouldn't do, but since I know how to get them to stay, it doesn't matter. But doing all these drills in that scenario, it's fun, it's cute, it's pretty. Me making my videos in my field and playing with the ball and playing tug and him running, yeah, it's fun, it's cute, it's pretty. But when it matters, that's what we should be working on the dogs to be able to get into a better place. Not this fun little cute things. And that's where I believe where most people fail, because for me personally, the same way. We get in our feelings. I'm like, I want to see my dog have fun. So when I'm sitting here watching this video, my dog is, what I want to say is, having fun. Why are these videos all over the place? This dog is having fun, doing what it is that he's doing. He's out here. So here, let me play it. Let me shut it off. He's out here. He's playing. He's having a blast. He's having a good old time. He's just all excited, all having He's running around. He's just as excited as all can be. I was like, this is how I want to see my dog all the time, just running free. And anytime that I see my dog look like it has any sort of little bit of stress on it, I'm like, I'm doing something wrong here. And that's the wrong approach when you're fighting against nature with the dog. Nature doesn't care about the dog being happy. It just doesn't. Nature doesn't care about any animal out here being happy. It doesn't. That's like the last thing on its mind. Nature is putting so much pressure on. In reality, you better do what you better do, or else. And that or else should come from me as opposed to nature being or else, because nature being or else to your dog could be a dead dog. So if I have a wild dog that's putting pressure on mine, that's going to go to a fight that one of them is not going to live. I don't want to run into that scenario. And I'm smarter as a human being to be able to bring that force to that dog, to be able to get them to know, okay, well, let's dial this back. Let's settle this down. Let's relax this out. So we don't need to bring it up to this high level of challenge. And that's what I realized has really been able to help these dogs. The main thing that I really want a lot of people to think about with that concept, especially the fear. You know, if you have a dog that is just headstrong, confident, I'm ready to just demolish and destroy the world. You're going to work with that dog the same way, but you're not battling against things that's terrifying it, that is going to override what's going on with it. The thing is, we're trying to override a natural response inside of the dog with a toy. We're trying to override it with treats. It's not going to happen. It's going to need more. And then once you really understand that, especially in the concept with us as humans, any vice that you have right now that you're like, or you could just have seen somebody. You could have had a parent that was an alcoholic, and the day that they tried to stop, what was their state of being in? It is so challenging, but you want to, in reality, go through a complete withdrawal. You want to cut it off. You want to stop everything. You want to, in the second that it starts, you want to be in the middle of every single moment, every second before it even goes anywhere. You want to be way ahead of it. So you want to be proactive towards everything. You don't want to already have 8 bottles in your house. I'm trying to quit drinking. No, you need to be proactive and dump it and get it all away. You need to. So for me personally, one way that really helped me was I didn't have no money. So I ran out of money. I ran out of funds. I didn't have enough. And in reality, I started buying things to have no money, because knowing that if I had $20, I'm going to go and get it. So I had to be proactive and cut everything off, cut it all out. And every single time that I'm going through this, like something stress, something weird's going on, I have to do something about it in that instant. So that's what I talk about when I'm doing with these dogs at this moment. When the dog is anxious, scared, afraid, and nervous, and all this stuff, I'm going to be very proactive at every little instance that I see that the dog is like, what is that? And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And then I start to see it finally just absolutely start to disappear. Instead of getting to the point that it's still there and it's still looking for something from me. It doesn't go away. It's like, oh, I was nervous at work, or something happened at work today, I'm going to get a drink. Every day, you're going to have something weird at work happen. Every day you drive. I don't care. I don't know what is with our roads. Maybe it's just it's everywhere. I've lived in the States. It's hostile driving out there. It is hard. And every single day, you're going to have this weird, intense, crazy situations go on with you every single day. There's not going to be a day alive that it's just like, oh, everything now is finally this perfect oasis. And if every single day you've been using something to escape, you've been giving the dog the ball every day, you've been giving the dog treats every day, trying to break that habit is going to look extreme. The dog is going to go through the withdrawals that we as humans also go through. It's going to have all those problems. But the thing is, once you're able to overcome those problems, and when those stressors come, you no longer need something to be able to cope with, to help you cope through it. You'll be able to do it all internally on your own. That's where we want to be able to get to with our own selves, for sure, but especially with the dog. The dogs are capable of being able to do this, something that I don't think that a lot of people really like to talk about. The dogs are able to get over the fear that's going on inside of them. Each dog is going to be different. Each dog is going to take a little more or a little less time. Each dog is going to look a little less or a little more extreme. Each dog is going to be able to overcome all of the issues that's going on inside of it. And the issues can get to a point that it's a 10. Like my dog, I take him out and he just see dogs, he see people, he's at a 10. It can get to the point that it's a 2, that it's just like, what's going on? But there's no reason to lash out about it. There's no reason to do anything about it. He may never get to the point that it's just perfect. Like my Dalmatian, she walks around, she's like, oh, everything's fine. I don't care about anything. And it may never get to that point. But the main thing is we want to be able to get to the point that the dog finally is able to just get through all of those issues, as opposed to it needing something to get through those issues. Thank you. Why all y'all in here? Y'all howling. Man, you done bumped your scratch. We're just going to leave that. It is what it is. But it's the progressions that I've seen with working with this dog that I've done what most all people have done with the dogs. I'm not speaking from just watching other people's stuff. I'm speaking from why I do what I do is because I have been that pet owner, that pet. I don't like these words that people use today, but I'm going to use it because a lot of people use it. That pet parent that has dealt with and is dealing with all the same issues that everybody has. I did not go out and adopt and buy and rescue these amazing, good, balanced dogs. The way that in reality, when you really go to most all dog trainers channels, you're going to see that they bought this specific, nice, well-bred, purpose-bred, like well picked out, knowing which one to pick out type dogs that they're working with. I don't have that. I don't have, my border collie is the only one, but he's not one that I work. He's not a pet dog. He's the only one like that is a nice, purpose-bred, really nice dog. All my other dogs, they're just they have all kinds of huge issues, right? Just from, say, their genetic birth. The genetic in them is just what they are. And we don't have to say, oh, it's genetic, it's just who they are, and this is what they are. No, there's a part of the nurturing that we as caretakers can be able to provide to be able to help them through what's going on with them. And it's a different work when you're working with a dog that is already, say, that German Shepherd that is just a nice, well-bred dog. You're not dealing with, oh my goodness, my dog is nervous of another dog. But most of us that have, say, the regular German Shepherds that we just got from who knows where, like this dog came from who knows where. He's just a dog that showed up in a shelter one day, got stuck at my dog training school for a while. And I was like, let me just take this dog. I have to figure something in me was like, I got to do something here because this is just a life lesson for me of taking this dog that I was super scared of because he's quick to chew on you if you ever told this dog no. And he's what I see in most all people's dogs. I see the range of him and my Dalmatian in everyone's dogs. They're either so excited, just so excited, so like, oh my goodness, there's a squirrel, there's people, there's dogs. That's my Dalmatian. She has no fear at all in her, but she's just like on a rampage of just this explosion of excitement that her eyes would just bulge and get red and be insane. I see this from a lot of people's dogs. And then on the complete opposite side of that, I see dogs like my Shepherd. He looks like he's a higher drive and high active and high excitability. He's not. He does have that energy. He is that, but it's not through that excitement out of, hey, I'm having fun. It's through that fear. That fear is driving him to function and to go and to do. That fear is what's driving him to look like all dancing and jumping and going crazy. And so to the average eye, you're seeing in reality the same dog out of both of my dogs. But there's completely different core fundamentals inside of them on why they're doing what they're doing. And if the main thing is a lot of what I've been doing with my Dalmatian, yeah, I can say get away with what I've done with her because she's not scared. I helped her through her excitement. I got her out. I got her I still personally believe, because I see this in all of my animals, my baby quail, my chickens, my cows, my everything, my pigs. When they're young, they run, they move, they go. A young dog needs to get its, say, fulfillment out. It needs to run out. It needs to get all that out. It needs to have that opportunity. It just, my opinion, it needs to. You can't just lock and cage, say, a Dalmatian down, or not all of them, but most of them are just kind of are runners. And you can't just lock them down and then think like, oh, I'm going to get, no, you got to get that out. All these animals just run and go and do what they do. We got to get that out. And then once they get that overexcitable and overexcitement out, it's like everything else is just like, oh, it's easy. So at this point today with this dog in specific, when I'm telling her, hey, don't go meet people and don't just walk up to dogs. Wait for me to go walk up to dogs. It's a flash because I'm not working on the environment putting so much pressure on her that she's scared. Now she's working on, okay, let me learn about me. She's focusing on me to be able to ask me instead of just doing what she's doing. And then she goes. But my Shepherd, I'm fighting against this nervous makeup inside of him that is just, it's powerful. It's intense. It's scary in reality. When I really would think about it, with watching a lot of my older videos and stuff that I have with him in public and seeing him around other dogs, it's scary. And it's scary for my own self because I don't know, some people just, I want to touch the dog. And I'm like, don't touch this dog. Like, it didn't matter who it was. He didn't want, you do not put your hand and put it above his head. He's not going to growl. He's not going to snap. He's just like, oh, I'm going in. It was a reflex in the dog of how terrified he was. Seeing other dogs terrified, how terrified he was. And it takes for me to have to push him through that, force him through that, get him through that so that he can overcome that and not still stay in it. Everything that I was doing with that dog for pretty much over 4 straight years was getting him to keep getting worse, giving him the ball to like, look at the ball, but don't look at that. And it made like, oh, the ball is shiny. The ball is cool. The ball is amazing. And then it made over there even more scary as opposed to just like, let's look at it. Let's be in it. Let's be around it. Let's be amongst it and not just run away from it. This is why I see that the stuff just in I'm going to say most of the most. None of that stuff works. None of the just giving a dog a treat and playing with it works for a long-term solution. It can work for a little while, but then it's like, oh, now I need to upgrade my plane and my toy, my all this stuff. And every single time it just keeps going further and further and further. Now I'm to the point that, you know, your dog starts to play tug in a way, and then now it starts to play tug in a way that it'll drag down a 300-pound man, like, because these dogs they're impressive. They really are. They're really neat. But it starts to drag you around. The game starts to get more and more and more intense. The game starts to get longer and longer and longer. Why? Because the fear that rage that's in that dog is not disappearing. We're trying to focus it on this. It's the same with, oh, I just started drinking a beer. Now, what are you drinking? That whole big old bottle. I mean, like I used to do straight up. That whole big old, I don't forget the numbers on it, 750 milliliters. You would drop down one of those in a night with no problem. But it started with the beer. And then that whole bottle turns into what? It's not enough. It's not enough. You need more. As opposed to saying, I got to go. I have to stop. I have to go through the withdrawals, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be really challenging. And in reality, that's what I see in the dog at first. I'm holding the dog on the leash, and I'm holding him there. And that dog is going through withdrawal. It's going through chaos. It's going through issues. But I know what's going to happen through that chaos. When we keep pushing through that, it starts to go away. As opposed to trying to, go look over here and keep taking all this stuff and trying to keep escaping it. It doesn't go away. It just stays. It just stays there to the point that it starts to become, people start to get scared. And that's why it's easy to transition into, say, balance training as the normal of all today of type training. But for me personally, I still know that doesn't work. It'll give you some relief at first. And then it's just like, I need more and more and more and more and more. Watch anyone's videos right now. And especially there's one person right now that I don't like to say people's names because it is what it is. But we started with the leash, and now we've double boxed the dog at this point, a puppy at this point, because it doesn't work. So when that double box doesn't work, where are we going next? There is no more next. So then that's the point where it's like, oh, we got to put the dog down because we can't get anywhere. But in reality, we didn't do anything. We didn't actually help the dog through what's going on with it. There's a lot of this stuff will work with, say, a dog that's just excited. But most dogs that I meet today are just scared. They are just terrified of things that are going on around them. And they come off to be playful to try to hide that fear that's in them. And that's what I see a lot of dogs do. They're running up to dogs. They're laying down. They're doing all the submissive things because they're scared. They're not excited. They're scared. So they're doing appeasement things to try and make it disappear, to try to make it go away. And then it goes away. Then the dog's like, whew, thank goodness. As opposed to getting the dog to actually know how to be able to go through it and go through it with nothing at all. And it's going to look crazy at first, but there is progress through the end. That when I quit drinking and it hurting, 3 months from now, you're going to be a more productive human being, more than likely. You're going to be able to get more done. There's greater things on the other side of staying in those issues. But when you're in those issues, you don't see a way. It's just like there's nothing. We're not going to get anywhere. But once you finally get through it, you're going to finally start to say, okay, well, things are getting better. Because even my shepherd, he's terrified of being inside of the house. I'll probably play a couple video short clips of that. He's terrified of being inside. This dude he's just a nervous, complete wreck of a dog. He was scared of being in the car. He's just scared of going anywhere, being in anything. The only thing he liked to do was where I manipulated it in a way of being in that field that I was playing in the beginning of this video of no one's around. I could have Johnny around. He was okay with him. And he was okay with the cows and the chickens around. He was okay with that, but my border collie couldn't be around, nowhere around. He had to be locked up in a crate, out of sight, completely gone, completely away, where this dog couldn't do anything. All these videos that I was doing there, that my border collie is missing in action. He couldn't even be seen. He couldn't be out. And when I set that scenario up over and over and over and over and over, it built his confidence in that, say, very sterile environment. But when I brought him into the real environment, it went in, it's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.